Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the DS, I appreciate you as usual. It's a pity there is some technical hitches in the arrangement of the panelists, but we'll make the best of the situation. Now, talking about understanding the People's House or understanding the National Assembly, it can be a fairly complicated process. It is easy to talk about engagement, inclusion, tolerance, joint understanding or shared understanding of critical issues. But for that to happen, there has to be mutual respect and appreciation of the work of the National Assembly. Unfortunately, the vast majority of Nigerians have very little idea what the National Assembly is or what we do there. There is this adversarial relationship. Even in your own constituency, you are constantly fighting battles of cliques emerging from everywhere to unseat you because they are not focused on what you are doing. They are focused on the office they think you occupy. And that is where the problem comes from. We have a lot of civil society organizations here that we work with that should, under normal circumstances, carry the messages to the grassroots. But they are only in Abuja, most of them Abuja and Lagos. We used to call them Labango, Lagos-based NGOs. Now they've become Abango, Abuja-based NGOs. They are not in the constituency, at least not one of those I have met in the National Assembly or in Abuja operates or functions at all in my constituency. So there is a huge disconnect of recycling and promoting elite-driven conversations and not listening to those that we're supposed to be serving. So for me, therefore, this is the best moment in the history of this country where you have a National Assembly filled with intellectuals, heavily diversified because of the number of political parties, with a large number of young people who are eager to learn, to work, and to make impact. This is the only assembly I know that has been as open to civil society and development partners than any. I was here in the night assembly. We had just one or two NGOs that were working with us. Today we have more than 15 that are ready and more are coming in to say, look, we want to partner with you so that we can share experiences and take the message down to the grassroots. But I won't take too much time because we have a very large panel. I will want to round my comments off by saying that for the outsider to understand the National Assembly, the National Assembly must understand itself. In other words, the members must seek and obtain and utilize information. How many staff do we have in the National Assembly? We know we are 360. What about the aides? How many aides? How many major national institutions are we funding from the National Assembly? How are our constituency offices set up and operating? What is our relationship with critical stakeholders? I know there are constraints. Like me, I don't go to my constituency anyhow unless I want to be kidnapped. And I don't want that to happen. You know, before I go, I have to prepare properly. But that was not my dream when I was elected. My dream was to go home monthly, hold town hall meetings, give information as to what is going on in Abuja, to reduce the tension and suspicions and aspersions at the grassroots level as to what the National Assembly is all about. So I believe that if we, as members, empower ourselves and our constituencies and constituencies with the right information, we'll begin to change the narrative slowly, not permanently, but change the narrative about the perception of who we are, what we do, how we do it. And the National Assembly, for most members and committees, we don't utilize the full powers we have given to us by the Constitution. I'll give just one example and close. A governor refused to swear in members who were elected the same election with him. At that time, they were in the same party. We moved a motion in the House carried the motion, and the House sent a delegation to that state. They came back and confirmed the content of the motion. The Senate independently sent a delegation. They came back and confirmed the content of that motion. Till this very day, those 14 young men that were elected to the House of Assembly never sat for one day, and nothing happened. Even the National Assembly did not push forward. A lawyer who represented them in a court in Port Harcourt did it pro bono, was not even sent by the National Assembly. So we're not using our powers, our network, our connections, the opportunities we have. And it is extensive, both constitutional powers, powers arising from connections in terms of those who have served the National Assembly who are out of there, and so on. So I believe that while we urge the public to understand the National Assembly, empathize with us, and we in the National Assembly should begin by understanding ourselves, empowering ourselves with information. We have a brand new library now, state of the art. We should use it. Information, they say, is power. I think I'll just leave it there for now and let other colleagues comment on it. Let me hand it back to the chairman.
Thank you very much. I think we're going to start with the role of the state houses of assembly in strengthening our democracy and the need for collaboration, especially with regards to constitution review, what have been done so far, what need to be done, areas we should look into. So we'll just pass the microphone from Honorable Waife to 2 minutes, 3 minutes conversation, because we'll, after that, look at the other topic so that we can quickly round up and make our position known on some of these topical issues. So the question is, do you think, as it is currently, the state houses of assembly, if left in the current structure, will help the advancement of Nigeria's democracy? And if no, what do you think needs to be done?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Chairman, and panelists, and everyone present, honorable members and our guests. The task of building a society, a nation where truth, justice prevail, most of it rests upon lawmaking, and especially at the subnational level. Currently, the Constitution Review Committee, which His Excellency chairs, has started on a good note by engaging state houses of assemblies from day one, so that we don't get into the situation we've had in the past, where good pieces of legislation did not get the support of 2/3 of the state houses of assembly. So the first thing to be done, I must say, has been done by the Constitution Review Committee. But at the state house of assembly level, there is the need for the elections of members of the state houses to be proper elections and not just selections of, since the election comes the same day with the state executive governor, there's that tendency that it is the governor's cronies that get into the house. So eventually, it is the will of the governor that shows in the decisions of the state assemblies. There's a need for state house of assemblies across the country to exercise some independence of thought in lawmaking and look at national interests. We are one indivisible country. We are in this together. And what will be good for our country? For instance, we'll talk about state police now, we'll talk about local government autonomy. Those are things that were turned down by state assemblies in the past. State assemblies now must be elected by the people and be answerable to the people. And I pray that this action that the Constitutional Review Committee has taken that is different from what has happened in the past. In the past, it's at the end that they are lobbied. But now, from the beginning, there's this involvement. So, Mr. Chairman, I believe that we're going in the right direction and we are going to get the desired results in this enterprise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Can you pass the microphone to Mike Etaba at the end? Honorable Mike,
Chairman.
You recall in 2022, a total number of 68 bills were considered and voted on the 1st of March 2022. And the total number of 44 bills passed through both chambers of the National Assembly. And these were sent to the states for them to concur. But out of these 44 bills, only 38 of them came back complying with the provisions of the Constitution on Section 9 with regards to two-third. So 24 state houses of assembly met the requirements. And the states that actually complied were Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Cross River State, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, Ekiti, Enugu, Gombe, Imo, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kogi, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Sokoto, Rivers, Yobe, and Zamfara, while 5 states like Jigawa, Kwara, Plateau, and Taraba State, they did not respond. Now we are busy with another constitution review process. What do you think we need to do to have more participation by the state houses of assembly so that bills emanating from the National Assembly will be given the real support that it deserves in line with Section 9 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, my distinguished fellow panelists and the viewers. Well, the whole thing boils down to, an understanding of the rule of law. If we understand that the both houses stand an independence on their own, I think I'm happy also that you have mentioned Cross River to be part of those states that complied. That is to tell you that the state I come from has complied completely with this decision, and I also believe that with this understanding with the remaining 5 states, the only way we can go about it in this review, in this constitutional review that His Excellency is chairing, is to engage with the governors. Let us engage the governors of the 36 states, including FCT. And if we are able to do that, I think the issue of back and front won't be there, because most of the state houses of assembly listens to their governors, maybe based on 1 or 2 favors they want to get. But I think that if the House of Reps and the Senate stand tall to say that this is what we want to do and this is how we can collaborate and make this Nigeria a better place for all of us to stay, I think all these issues will be resolved amicably.
Thank you very much. I'll come to you, madam. Coming to you. As you know, this current administration have assented to 3 bills within its existence, within 1 year, flowing from the past 5th alteration. One of them is to ensure uniformity in the retirement age and pension rights of judicial officers, of superior courts of record and for related matters. The next is to establish State Security Council for related matters. And then the other one that is also important is a bill that included presiding officers of the National Assembly as members of the National Security Council. 2 of these bills had to do with security. And now, if you listen to the conversations today, the chairman of Conference of Speakers stated clearly that they are willing to support state police. The governor that spoke from Kaduna State said, we are in support of state police. The president had assented to 2 bills that had to do with security. Do you think that the state houses of assembly and the House of Rep, including the Senate, should take the issue of security to the next level by ensuring that constitutional alteration should have these covered, especially as it regards state police? And if yes, how do you think, or what do you think is the best way to approach it, to have the buy-in of even those who are still sitting on the fence at the moment? This 2 minutes conversation will be had by the panel, and then it will be open for the floor to make their comment and also to bring in their question. Thank you, madam.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. When it comes to security, at the moment, we're all not ignorant about what is going on in Nigeria. And I'm sure each and every one of us in this room has had a personal experience in recent times that is not one you want to repeat. Yes, the National Assembly is playing its own role by ensuring that these laws come to be. But then National Assembly can't do it alone. The state assemblies need to collaborate. Yes, a governor stood here before us all this afternoon and agreed that yes, we do need state police. But the first question is, do all the governors believe this? Because obviously, without the buy-in of all the governors, we're all just joking around about it. If Nigeria does not make security a priority immediately, we are bound to find ourselves in a very sticky situation. And it is high time the governors sit back. All governors are adults. They see what is going on. They see how bad it has gotten in some states. On Saturday last week, I was in Ogun State. I had to travel with 10 policemen out of fear. I made it back safely, but only for Sunday morning, the people were kidnapped on that same route I was on, and they had police protection. One, the firepower of our police force does not match the firepower of insurgents, kidnappers, etc. So therefore, we need the laws that will empower across states to ensure that all Nigerians are protected. And how do we achieve that? Well, we can only achieve that, and I'm going to be very blunt, with maturity. Without maturity, we will continue to look at what favors me as an individual rather than what favors us collectively as a nation. So you are right, Mr. Chair. definitely we need state police. We need an improved security apparatus across Nigeria. And the laws of National Assembly alone cannot make it happen, because those laws need to be domesticated across all states. And if we do not, we can already see the direction we're all going. So it's not something we need to drag. It's something that needs to be done immediately. So what I would think should be the way forward is for a round table of all governors to be called, where there's interaction between the governors, the security apparatus of Nigeria, the Nigerian citizens, the National Assembly, and the State Assembly, where we all collaborate to make this thing happen, and happen very quickly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. Well said. Dr. Emmanuel, Barrister Emmanuel, you've been around. You've been around for a very long time within the National Assembly, and you know a lot about what goes on here. For 1999 till date, if I'm not mistaken, you've been around for a very long time. And you are aware that one topical issue has been coming up now and again, especially when the issue of constitutional review comes up. I didn't want a lady to comment on this. I wanted a man, and that has to do with gender. You know, at the moment we have about 96 propositions for constitutional amendment before the Committee of the Constitutional Review. And one of them is on a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, to provide for seat reservation for women in the National and State Houses of Assembly and for related matter. And I'm sponsoring that bill with a host of, very distinguished colleagues. And it has to do with increasing the participation of women. It was there last time when we made an attempt, but it didn't scale through. What do you think we should do going forward as Parliament? Do you really think we need that as it is? Do you think the public perception of our effort is sufficient? Is there anything we need to do more from the Parliament? And the various women or gender-based organizations, civil society organizations, are they doing enough advocacy within this space? If you think yes, what do we need to do more to win? If you say no, what do they need to get right? Over to you on gender bill.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. The first issue we will ask ourselves is this. In our population, if you see the population of Nigerian women and then compare it with the representation we have at the moment, every right-minded person will shudder. And here is the setting. As at the moment, we don't have up to 30 women in the House of Representatives and the Senate. I have always given an example with this. Angela Merkel has just left Germany after 16 years of chancellorship of that country. In Nigeria, as at the last exercise, there was a day anyway, though I was not in support of that. The women group barricaded the National Assembly entrance. As at the day of voting for those 5 gender-friendly bills, it was too late, and it was not the best. What I'm saying is this. There are so many advocacy groups, including FIDA and the rest of them. And then the press, we have reasonable number of women. In the judiciary, women have taken over, though they didn't come with protests. If you look at the course from magistrate court to Supreme Court, you will see that women have taken over in presiding. So what I am suggesting is this. The press should highlight population of women, and then women will be able also to sensitize themselves, and that if we make a critical case, every household in Nigeria will be what? Will shudder over the poor representation. It is embarrassing. I don't think there's any democracy under the sun that has this setting. Then secondly, I said we have more women voters in Nigeria than men. Then we will have asked ourselves, the barrier is in culture, but this culture actually has to be reviewed very well. The closest point to a woman being a governor in Nigeria came from Adamawa. In Anambra State, for almost 3 legislative sessions, we had 2 senators, female senators representing us, over 1 in the Senate. So what I'm saying is this. If we take a critical review of the setting qualitatively and then now engage ourselves, every activist, including my own self, I'm embarrassed with the representation of women. It is poor. And there are countries where women really, India, Indira Gandhi was prime minister for 15 years in India. We saw Margaret Thatcher in England. But the issue is that more men voted for Margaret Thatcher than women. So culturally, we have to look at it. Then politically, like I said, there has not been sensitization, enough sensitization. And the issue of state assembly is key because state assembly must endorse. And we have allowed governors to be sole administrators. They control the assemblies. And we must also take a look at constitution making is a handwork of the people. But lawmaking is what? Act of parliament. Is it not time for Nigerians to think about referendum in constitution making or alteration? It is time to look at that. So having seen it on this front, I think we have not done enough. And then now it is a challenge on the women to take a look at their own rating by population. We have more women voters than men. And how come we have not been able to present a 1% of women in the legislatures? So this is a key challenge, and I see it on that way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You are very straight to the point, and the need is there that women need to be represented because of the number they occupy in our demography, the population of our country. And there was something to take back from that. Women have higher number of voters than men, but when women come to be elected, stand to be elected, more men vote for women. That should stimulate a conversation, which means women among yourself, you need to do something. Even when you stand to be elected, women vote for you more. Now that it has come for the advocacy, I think we men are talking more than the women. So it's about time women, if you really want to get this, which we believe that you deserve, that you start stimulating the conversation and going the extra mile. I don't think it will be done by force because of our cultural differences, because of our religious background. It must be done, in a strategic way where it will be a win-win, not being offensive to anybody's belief, anybody's culture. We must be sensitive to others. But is there a gap there? Yes. Women need to be better represented. This is me saying that the men are willing. How willing and how prepared are the women? I would like to hand over now to my co-chairman who want to take you for the next 15 minutes on understanding the legislature, the National Assembly, what we do there. And there are some people I purposely left that he will be leveraging to comment on some of that. And after that, the microphone will come down for us to get your opinion documented, and then we'll round up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our able Deputy Speaker. Before I call on the next contributor, let me make the quick point that in human history, those who control the means of production and exchange control political power. So it's not obtained on a platter of gold. In Africa, countries that went through revolutionary struggle to gain independence have either equality in parliament or provisions that favor women, like in Uganda, Eritrea, Ethiopia, South Africa, Namibia. Go and check. So the NGOs are doing, the women's groups right now are doing almost nothing to change the perspectives and orientation of the discourse on the floor of the National Assembly. This is what happened last time, and if they don't change that, it may repeat itself. But let me, Kumo is not here, Issa is not here. Chief Amos Daniel, please give your own comments on the engagement with the issues of house services and what members go through and the condition of the edifice, so that people will also appreciate the conditions under which we work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Like we all know, I'm Chairman House Services, and of course, I'm the Chief Welfare Officer of the House of Representatives, and by extension, I can say I'm the warehousing, or rather the chief warehouse of every member, including the presiding officers. There's this growing conversation and impression about the members of the House of Representatives, or by extension, the members of the National Assembly, including the Senate in this case. Nigerians think we actually live in heaven, even the people that voted for us. And just before I came up here, a thought came to my mind that we go to our constituencies, and some of us are well loved. People can do, I know in my constituency, people who can actually truly give their lives for me. But when we come here, the average Nigerian see us as though we are the enemies of the progress of Nigeria. And when it is time for election, they will vote for us overwhelmingly to come represent them. I am here, like I said, as the Chief Welfare Officer of every 359 members, that is excluding myself. So please feel free to ask me every or any question that relates to that heaven that some of you think we live in. The 10th Assembly is already done more than 1 year. And I can sit here and say to all of us that we have members who have not even gotten complete office equipment to help in their day-to-day running of their offices. And what that means is we don't have the funds to make those items available from day one. And in this case, probably 1 year after. So, Mr. Chairman, and of course, members of the public, in the spirit of the Open Week, in the vision of the leadership, I'm here to attend or to answer or provide answers to any question that would bring you to the understanding that we are also very ordinary people like every Nigerian. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think to break it down, I'm the leader of the house. I bought my TV, I bought my refrigerator, I bought my printer, I bought my own scanner, and we can go on and on. The DS, he has not got it. So people out there just, the building is not owned by us. It's owned by FCT. FCT owns the building. FCDA. They own the building. So, and they are responsible for maintaining it. I've been caught in the elevator more than twice when the light goes off and you are inside. But that's not why we are here. But it's just to let you know, it is not a bed of roses, contrary to what people see outside. Let me invite my brother, Honorable Dixon, who is Chairman Constituency Outreach, to throw some light on the options, benefits, challenges of issues around constituency outreach. How do we reach them, and how does that process contribute to an better understanding of the National Assembly?
Thank you very much, my chairman, my leader, fellow panelists, and our audience. As the chairman of constituency outreach in the National Assembly, one of my key functions is to ensure that every member, 359 plus myself, own an office in our constituencies. And the reason is simple. The reason is to ensure that our constituents are engaged and involved in our area of legislation. They are carried along. They bring their issues that affect them for members to either take them to the National Assembly for solutions or solve them at that area. And I've always discussed with my committee members and other members of the National Assembly that there are ways to which we can reach our people through the National Assembly can reach the public and get them involved in our legislation. One of which is public hearings, constituency briefings, community outreach, for example, skill acquisition trainings, health outreach symposiums, accessibility to citizens through social media platforms and other conventional new media engagements. Other ways, your staffing, we are entitled to some aids in the National Assembly. You can engage the diversity of your people in your constituency by choosing staffing from different cultures so as to make them feel involved in the process. Those are ways in which I feel our legislators can reach their people through their lawmaking engagements. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. The final person on my list is my brother on my right side, High Chief Kanismo Chukwugozie, Chairman, Committee on Intergovernmental Relations. Now, you want to look at it in two ways. One is, how does intergovernmental relations help with promoting synergy between the National Assembly and other levels of governance and leadership? And how does that throw light on what the National Assembly represents?
Thank you, Your Excellency,
Denyi Abia, and the co-chairman, the leader of the House, of course, a fellow panelist. Firstly, the 10th National Assembly that is being manned by a seasoned administrator, a seasoned politician, in the name of Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, has done very, very well by putting our house together. Now we have Dr. George Akume, who is of the Cabinet Office, which is the SGF's office. These are parliamentarians, and they have, for a very long time, created a synergy and collaboration, which has made the House, the 10th Assembly, to be something that we have not even witnessed since the democracy was. So in other world, we have worked as a team, looking at what the current administration, under the command and control of His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is talking about since his administration started. So putting all these things together, we are optimistic that at the end of the day, what Nigerians are expecting from the 10th National Assembly will become something that will be okay at the end of the day. Thank you.
Okay, finally, for just 1.5 minutes, because we need to throw it there for a few questions. Honorable Waive Ejiro Wene will talk about rules and business.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for permitting that. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to crave this, use this opportunity to talk to Nigerians, our constituents. This is NAN's Open Week, or House of Reps Open Week. I want you to get an understanding of what it takes for a bill or a motion to come in from your representative. The reason I want to do this is the pressure that citizens put on members of parliament. How many bills have you sponsored? How many motions have you moved? The pressure is such that if the populace understand how we operate, there will be a bit of understanding. For instance, we're a house of 360. In that sense, not every member can speak every day, not even every month. It's impossible for 360 members to be speaking every legislative day or every week or every month. So please show understanding with your rep. If you have not seen him on television in a week or in a month or in 2 months, 360 is a huge number. And I want to say that every one of the 360, they propose motions and bills. This legislative year, over 1,300 bills have already passed first reading. That will tell you that your rep is not sleeping. But because of the number, you will not see them every day. And when they propose, this will go through scrutiny, we go through editing and all of that before it comes on the floor. So I want to crave for that understanding from members of the public so that the pressure you put on your rep will be reduced with some understanding. And then their own pressure on the Committee on Rules and Business would also be reduced. Thank you very much.
To tell you that he wants to give a review of public petitions.
All right. There is someone here who must talk about what it does. Public complaints. Is that not Chairman Public Complaints? Uh-huh. So that those in the public will know there is a committee that handles all your complaints. And it is open, whatever it is, even if it is between you and your landlord, bring it to him. They will find a solution. Over to you, Honorable Etaba.
Thank you, my dear leader. Thank you, Your Excellency, our chairman, our panelists, and my dear colleagues, and our guests. I am the chairman Public Petitions Committee. I want to take you through how petitions can be written and also how it can be laid and how to go about them. The only agency the public petitions is oversighting is Public Complaints Commission. And how petitions are written in two forms. You either address it to Mr. Speaker or you address it to the chairman of the committee. And there are three persons that cannot take petition in the floor of the House: the Deputy Speaker of the House, the chairman of the committee, and the deputy chairman of the committee. And now, when you submit your petition, the petition will be taken in the floor of the House, and the clerk will transmit those petitions to the committee for committee to schedule the petition. And when it's being issued for summoning for you to come and appear before the committee, what happens is we ask you to adopt the petition. Why do we ask you to adopt? Because we want to be sure that this petition is coming from you, so that you take responsibility of this petition. So don't feel that the window to challenge anybody in this country is closed. We have pro bonos in the committee. Mr. Speaker is funding, and the leadership is funding this committee without any reservation. We don't lack any funding. And if you have any matter you want to report to the House, make sure you locate your member, or any member at all can take your petition in the House and it will be referred to the committee. So don't be afraid of anybody. Even our colleagues also have petitions in the committee. And we deal with those petitions as though they are not our colleagues. So that is to tell you that you don't need to give any room for anybody to intimidate you. If you are sacked unlawfully, if there is any police brutality of any kind, please, you are free to report to the House. The House is the people's house, and the House is willing and ready to listen to you. This committee has visited almost 5 states. We've gone to Imo State, we've been to Kaduna, we've been to Rivers. We're also planning other, on-the-spot assessment so that we'll be able to resolve those matters. For now, the petitions that have been taken in the floor, for now, like Speaker said, those were reports that were given 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. For now, we have 363 petitions. And the matters that have been resolved so far is about 80 matters that have been resolved. Some we resolve them in the committee. Some of them we resolve them through ADRU based on how you want us to resolve the matters. So, and the committee is effective to listen to Nigerians. You don't need to bring money to give to anybody. Come, the House is going to help you. Mr. Speaker and the leadership are funding the committee effectively well. So you are welcome to bring your matters, your grievances to the committee and the House. We are ready to listen to you. Thank you.
Okay, we can throw it open now. If you have any question or comment, make it brief because we don't have a lot of time. Yes, let's start with Honorable Itula. Two from here, two from here. That's it, that we go. Give to Itula.
The chairman, the deputy speaker, the House, the co-chairman, the House leader, and other panelists, I greet you all. The area I want to make comments on is in that has to do with the interactive session with the speakers of the State Houses of Assembly. When the chairman spoke, he did say we should look at areas where the National Assembly can collaborate with the State Houses of Assembly with a view to deepening our democracy. One area I look at is the alteration of the constitution that has to do with the impeachment of the speakers. If you follow the news, there is hardly any week you do not hear of one speaker being removed for one flimsy reason or the other. And you all agree with me that if we allow this trend to continue, that level of governance cannot be strengthened. Therefore, there is the need to alter the constitution so that you also made the removal of a speaker of a state house assembly something that is rigorous and cumbersome, just like that you find with the governors. In a situation where the legislators serve as the accuser and they are also the judge at the same time, all you need to do to remove a speaker is just to write a petition, you read it, without even the opportunity to respond, he's already asked to vacate his seat, and lo and behold, another person is there. I do not think that will help in strengthening and deepening democracy at that level. We are a federation, and the federation comprises the states and that of the central government. If we get it right at the state level, I'm sure we also get it right nationally. So I urge that that area of the constitution be visited, so that you also made the removal of a speaker something that is very cumbersome, not just something you do within a minute. The second one has to do with...
No, I think we should let others do something.
No, this brief.
Please.
This last one, sir, has to do with the women. I had the deputy speaker saying that he sponsored a bill to ensure that some number of women are made to become members of the parliament, whether at the state level or at the national level. That will be very difficult to achieve. Because when you say a woman must be at a place in a democratic setting, you cannot mandate that all the political parties should also determine the sex of who represent them. If there are women there, if there are men there, it's open to the public to decide who they want. And in that case, you cannot say it must be this or it must be that. So you look at it, the way this thing has to be done is to evolve. It will evolve on its own. Let the women also show that they are willing to contest the election. Until they do that, you cannot sit down, somebody will say, come over, come and represent us. Thank you.
Thank you. But you know, you should study other countries. Take Uganda. They wrote it into their constitution, reserving seats for women to correct historical injustices for 20 years in the first instance. It's not rocket science, it's doable. Let me call this lady here. We have to be gender sensitive here.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lolade Ipele. I'm a fellow of the Legislative Mentorship Initiative, Cohort 2, and standing on all existing protocol. My question is to Honorable Dixon, who is the Chairman Committee on Constituency Outreach. So I don't know what are the strategies you are putting in place to ensure that people at the constituency are being, enlightened about the role of a legislator or what the role of a parliamentarian is. This brings me back to what really happened on Twitter last week. So somebody tweeted that he spoke to somebody like a parliamentarian that, what are you doing there? The road to your house is not blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel most of them do not really understand what you people are doing here. So what are those strategies you are putting in place to reorientate people to understand your role as a legislator? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Fulata. I see you there.
Thank you, Chair and Comrade Co-Chair. Honorable colleagues, members of the public. Mr. Chairman, we talk about state police as if we have never had one. We had state police before, especially during the First Republic. And what were they? Agents of brutality, oppression in the hands of the regional governments and traditional rulers. Secondly, most state governments, as we talk now, cannot pay salaries and wages of their civil servants. What will happen if you train individuals, jobless individuals, arm them, and then fail to pay their salaries. Invariably, you've trained armed robbers. It's a very dangerous precedent. We are treating on a very dangerous grounds. I am against state police.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, I promise you that I will vote against state police.
I will vote against you. There is no state that cannot pay workers unless they don't want to pay. I've been SSG to a state government that does not collect all that big money. No state. Don't believe them when they say they cannot pay. They know they can adjust. In fact, it's criminal to say you can't pay workers when they are working. Let me take another lady. All right, from the back. You are a member. Let's hear from non-members. And then from here, we'll take one more. If you are talking on state police, no. Because you have laid your position, we have laid our position. The matter is settled. We will meet in the floor. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Permit me to stand on existing protocol. I am Yeside Olasimbo. I have two questions, and I also want to, we need advice on the gender abuse, especially the special seat for women. My first question now is, yes, the Constitution says that there shall not be discrimination. That means women, both genders should be treated equally, right? But we are in a country where women do not have more opportunities in the political arena. For example, now, you said women are the ones that vote for men, right? But if you start from the primaries that, that would help them, get elected into office, there's this really big problem there. There's this gap there that political parties are not even giving the tickets to women. So how do they even vote for elections when they are not giving the ticket in the first place? So that's one. Two, I think, like I said, we understand that we do not want to hand over these things on a platter of gold to women. But I also suggest that we should also look into independent candidacy. It happened in Senegal. So just in case political parties are saying, no, we're not giving these women tickets, can women, due to their popularity, come out and say, you know what, I'm coming out for my people to represent my people? If political parties now are being too political about their selections, can women come out and say, I want to represent my people, and can my people vote for them? Thirdly, please, we are using this opportunity to beg everyone. Women are not begging for free handouts. We just need more representation because our voice is low, and we need more people, more women in the parliament, so that gender abuse, when they come on the floor, we have women to tackle and fight for us. No one understands the pain of a woman and a woman herself. And we urge and beg everyone here to support the advocacy for the special seat for women bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I will be handing over to Professor to continue because I have to go and observe my prayers. But let me say that if we use federal character as a provision in the Constitution to bridge the gap created by different tribes, to dissolve that, there must be another tool the Constitution can use to bridge the gap of gender imbalance. It is for us to think it out. Whether it's doable, the answer is yes. What we are battling with is how do we structure it so that everybody will have the sense of belonging. I will leave it at that. On the issue of state police, my friend Honorable Falata knows my position on it, and he knows I will convince him over time, so that because he only agrees with a strong opinion. And here is not the place for debate. He's coming to the house for debate. But we just want to harvest the input of the people in the spirit of open parliament. Thank you very much. I know he will round up well. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Let me go back this side. Yes, Honorable. Then we'll come back to you. You are the first to raise your hand.
Good afternoon, my leader, principal members of the House, my distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about security. I want to align with what she was saying. We are talking of security. We are not talking about boys and girls who are not educated. We now have PhD holders unemployed, master degree holders unemployed, first degree holders unemployed. What can we do about employment in Nigeria? Because it must go with security. It's very important we create employment for our youths so that they won't remain to be aggrieved and ready to attack anybody at any time. That is very, very important. Maybe after the NYSC, the federal government should do something about compulsory automatic employment of our youths. We can't go home now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think the solution is to expand the private sector, not federal government. The ministries are already overbloated. Yes, Honorable. Then there was somebody at the back there. Okay. After this, Honorable, you. Then we'll take the last one here.
Thank you, leaders of the People's Assembly. My name is Honorable Jafar Leko, and I represent Bogoroda Stafa Balea. So I also want to contribute towards the issue of security, because security is everyone's business. I just want to bring us back to when this very parliament altered the constitution to provide for state to conduct elections where state independent electoral commissions were established. I think it was established with a very good faith. But I think that single establishment caused the complete collapse of local government administration, which today all of us are shouting for local government autonomy. And you also make mention of the issue that has to do with state assembly in Edo State. I'm also aware presently in Plateau State, there are members of the state assembly that are yet to be sworn in to office. We also have this issue in Rivers State, and recently in Adamawa State, I saw a press conference where some political party decided not to participate in local government administration. This is simply because this law is within the jurisdiction of state governors and state assembly. So, sir, I want to advise for a wider coverage when considering the state police, because any law that has to do with state assembly that is within the jurisdiction of state governors is causing a lot of issues. So I am not saying I'm against or I'm for, but I want a wider coverage and wider participation of people. We should not be sentimental. We should be passionate and bring in input so that at the end of the day, we will not pass a law that will come back and said we want to review and do it again and again. I want to thank you for other presentations and the time you created and enlightening us. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and God bless.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I am Olayinka Olamide Esther, and I just want to say something in contribution to the discussion about women participation or gender inclusivity. And what I want to say is, in principle, whenever you make quotas for something, it is always the elite who gets it. Like what you find most times in political parties or political forums where you find out that there is quotas for women. You find out that most of the women who end up getting this are women who, permits me to say this, are elites and don't most of the time understand the problems that an average Nigerian woman or Nigerian female face. And this now entails, or this now answers the question of women not liking women, because you find out that an average woman has no reason to vote for someone they see vying for a post or trying to fill a particular quota, because they find out that these women either don't understand their financial problems, or these women don't understand their cultural problems or the cultural biases they face within society. And what I just have to say is we should rather have the removal of entry barriers for women.
Okay.
I like the idea, but please remove the entry barriers. Let women be able to afford to be part of political parties or to have.
Thank you. I won't call any more speakers. Let's get responses from you. I hope you've been taking note of the questions. Let me give you 2 minutes each, beginning with Honorable Waive, because it's on my left.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to note very quickly that what the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, I think, was talking about removal of heads of legislative houses. Please bring up a bill towards that, either through your rep or any other rep that you know, so that that can become law. A part of the recommendations that we'll be looking at. I want to say the same thing for the suggestion that was also given on the female representation. We need to get a member of the House or a senator to present it as a bill such that that can also pass, because that was a very excellent suggestion. What's the name of the lady now that she gave? Yes. Get somebody, yeah, you. Get somebody in the House or in the Senate to put that into perspective. I believe that what has happened so far, we have an open house. You know what we do, and you'll be able to understand better. Thank you. My 1 minute is over, I'm told.
Okay. Thank you for the floor. I'm going to address the issue of security. And I beg to differ from my honorable ranking colleague here. We do need state police. But then I can understand where he's coming from. No offense meant to the governors, but there's abuse of power by governors. So I understand his concerns. But then we can tweak it. We can work together and tweak it such that it will be a situation where it will be federal police, but it will be recruitment of the locals in their locality. I have gone to states and I'm looking for directions, and I go to the first place, police. And the policeman looks at me and says, I'm a stranger here, I don't know anywhere. Please, and when there's an emergency, that is the same person who is supposed to go and attend to that emergency. He doesn't even know his way around. So yes, federal police with strong states, will I call it, not states, with strong community participation. In America, the communities have policemen, and it's the policemen who live in the community that police that area. So federal police combined with some form of state inclusion would work perfectly, and it will solve the problem of my honorable colleague. And then he will vote yes. Thank you.
I think we should take the issues around state police and all of that back to the chamber, please. The law has not been passed. It's still, the debate is still ongoing. Members should go back and get very ready for the debate in the House.
Firstly, I will concur in totality on the issue of state policing. I support it 100%. because that is the best thing that will happen to we Nigerians. In fact, insecurity has ravaged Nigerians. I mean, in all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, no area is spared. But that is by the way. I know that that one is already history. We will meet our ranking colleague on the floor of the House for us to trash it out. So the issue of women involvement in the polity is very, very important. Gender sensitivity, gender coloration, gender inclusivity is very, very strategic. But then, our women should show commitment. They should be more serious. They should be more pushful. I will support it equally because we have more women in our country, more than men. If they're able to organize themselves very well, they will succeed in becoming part and parcel of what we are doing in the polity. But then, you have to show seriousness and commitment. Moment that is done, then in the House, we know what we should do. We should put up a kind of legislation that will accommodate them so that it will be easier for them to have access to some of these legislative arrangements. So let them organize themselves properly so that it will be easier for them to contest. That is my own position in that aspect.
Well, let me quickly intervene here. As a politician, in my own state, the women are the most dependable, reliable, and committed politicians. The men don't even come out to vote. Or they come out, they vote and go home. They clear the road for them. The women come out early, they stay there till election is over. Yeah, I don't know. We don't need to debate that here, but that is just the truth. Maybe you are talking about urban-based women. I don't know. But for the women at the grassroots, you can't find more loyal people. If they are with you forever. Those who are ganging up against me in my constituency, there's not one woman among them. What are we talking about?
Thank you very much, my chairman. My answer is to that young lady over there who asked a question about whether we can compel members to keep their constituents engaged, right? My answer to that is that why there is no law punishing a lawmaker who does not keep his constituents engaged, platforms like the one the speaker has given us opportunity today is to make our populace know their rights as regards their elected members. I think the primary responsibility of every member, what is sought, is to keep his people engaged, make them know what he's doing in the National Assembly or in the State Assembly, and then take their issues. That is why, as a committee, we make sure we ensure that every member has a constituency office that's open where their constituents can take their challenges to him so that he will know these people he is representing, what are their issues. And then, like I said earlier, through symposiums, through outreach, through constituency briefing, he will be able to also understand what their challenges and either solve them if there are challenges he can solve at the constituency level or those that he can solve through making a law. He will take it to the National Assembly, and as colleagues, we will support him to make a law to be able to take care of such issues. So I think platforms like this, like the one that our speaker has graciously made available to us today, is to be able to ensure that our people are aware of their rights. So if a member does not do that, well, the next elections, you will hold him accountable. So the populace, as a voting populace, have a responsibility to hold their members or our members accountable if they do not follow due process in the area of lawmaking. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me hint on one issue. This issue of police can only go through constitutional amendment. As at the moment, apart from the Police Act, appointment of IG and the rest about police is on the Constitution. So unless you, and it's an exclusive federal issue. And when it goes to states, let me hint you, it is not by accident that you do not see any representatives of the House of Assembly come back to this forum again. They must have been warned by their governors, because if you open up this space, the people will bounce on them. They are not babies. Did you see them come back to this place? So we should be very careful on what we do. Then the issue of women representation. Yes, I said it is cultural. It has social effects. And then women have to sensitize with their population by forced engagement, and then they can, because of their population. Tell any political party, if you have no woman on your list, we will not vote for you. Then, on their own cultural side, Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister of Britain for 12 years. She never appointed any lady, any woman on her cabinet for the 12 years. In Liberia, we had Sarah Sirleaf as the first lady president in Africa. She didn't take women issue to the front burner, just like the one now in Tanzania. So I think women should be able to organize themselves, now make use of their population, and trade it for any political party. At a point in time, the states in Southwest were using women deputy governors. When we went to school, by convention, vice of the student union, the vice was for women. Even in primary school, the vice monitor were for what? Women. Nobody told us that there was no convention, no constitution about that. So we should be able now to go the other way on a more positive. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First is the police, the state police. I completely give him my support for the state policing. Then the second one is the support for women. First, the women must learn to love themselves. 5 women cannot even stay in one room, but 20 men or 20 boys can stay in one room. So women must learn to love themselves, so that anything that has to do with women, if men come out to support, it will be much, much easier for us to do so. And the Nigerian people should also learn to love their parliamentarians. It's very, very important. Let us not be hated outside for something we don't know. If you need questions to be asked, ask questions and clarifications will be made to you. Let us not have those ambiguous figures that National Assembly is benefiting. Let us clear our head and allow our legislators to work and move the country forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would honestly want to take more questions, but I have to release my panelists. And this program, of course, goes on tomorrow, Thursday, and on Friday. So you have a chance to ask your questions. And if you, after this, if you can stop any of the panelists to raise your questions, we can. Is it a matter of life and death? I have to close it. I have many hands here, many hands here. I rule. Even my own brother here, I've not called them. We've had a good session, and I want to thank you all for your patience and for the brilliant questions that were raised. But it is this kind of conversation that will enable us to change the narrative in Nigeria. We have created a situation with a big federal government sitting on everybody. Even nobody is talking about state constitutions. In a federal system, every state should have its own constitution. Where it conflicts with the federal prevails. But they should. We say we copied America. There's no state in the US that does not have a state constitution. We're not talking about that. We're talking about state police, state assemblies. The problem is not in the members. It's in the way they got elected. And excessive executive interference in their operations. How do we broaden the democratic space to give them autonomy and some freedoms? The gender bills, we have 5 of them already. They have come back from the last night house. It will be part of the constitution amendment. And I'm sure this time we are better positioned to deal with it than we did before. We were all here when they were speaking, so I don't need to repeat all they have said. But suffice to say, we've had a good conversation. The National Assembly is there for you. We are your friends. You sent us there. We cannot do what you do not want. But you have to take advantage of our resources, our presence, and our structures within the Assembly, from public complaints to constituency outreach to intergovernmental relations, basic education. We need information from you to enable us function properly. And I want to thank you all once again. I wish you a very wonderful evening. We'll bring this to a close.